Welcome back, everyone, to Hearthstone Grandmasters for the Americas. As we're preparing for our final match of day number 1 in week 7, which is ETC versus Fr0zen. Fr0zen in a great position to make it to playoffs. ETC needs to pick up his results to avoid relegation, and ETC is another player who's been under the microscope lately with, whether or not he can step it up and stay in Grandmasters. Because right now things haven't been looking good for him so far.
Yeah, it's almost a bit of a parallel of our last match with Muzzy versus Papa Jason, in that we have a player near the top of the standings, a player near the bottom, both playing for important things, but kind of opposite things on the end of the results spectrum, right? You know, Fr0zen trying to secure that spot in the playoffs, I believe, and ETC trying to just stay alive as a Hearthstone Grandmaster. So a big match for both of these guys, and it's going to be interesting to see. It looks like we do finally have another match where Warrior has been banned for both players. So the craziness is over.
Yes, and I think that what's ultimately important to remember is that, just get the win. Forget about the playoffs and the, who needs to win and who needs to lose for it to figure it out. Just get the W now.
Right.
And we'll figure it out later.
So checking out Fr0zen's decks right now, Highlander Hunter, Galakron Rogue, and the good old Tempo Demon Hunter are his picks. So bringing Hunter and Rogue, and not bringing the Warlock. So another one of our players who's not super confident yet with the Quest Warlock, but it does definitely take some dedication to, I think, learn that deck. And in the final week, when there's a lot on the line, why not just go with what you're more experienced with,
Yes, and most importantly, ban that Warrior. I know Warrior's kind of been floundering a little bit, but if I were to be, a little bit more candid about it, I feel like the Warrior play today has also left some questions on my mind.
I would agree.
It's just, I completely understand the lines of play that some people took, but it felt like there were points where it could have been optimized more, or perhaps it could have taken a different line entirely to find an alternative way to get to that win. So, we'll see. But either way, Warrior's been on both sides, so we won't see Warrior for this period. Instead, we have the Druid, Demon Hunter, and the Warlock as ETC, one of the people not bringing Rogue, which I'm a fan of right now. And I like the lineup for ETC. I just wonder whether or not he can execute, because that's been mainly his issue. I think his deck list is fine. I think bans and stuff he's choosing are totally okay. It's sometimes the technical play details that's been really tripping him up.
Okay. Let's take a look at his Demon Hunter before we get into the match. Fairly standard stuff across the board. It has the single Volpera Scoundrel. Both the two that we see here and there.
Yes, we will see the Tempo Demon Hunter just pretty much play a straightforward deck list. There's not too many tricks like Mana Burn or the Netherwing that we saw, right?
Yeah.
It's just basically straight up Demon Hunter is what most people expected. There is that interesting one of package though in the middle. The one of Sightless Watcher, the one of Spectral Sight, the one of Volpera Scoundrel.
Right.
It seems to me that he's going for a balanced approach as opposed to trying to target a specific matchup with that kind of deck list.
It seems strong, but you kind of wonder sometimes if you're just making yourself a little bit too lukewarm on all fronts, right? Where maybe if you had two of one of those, you'd just be a little bit better equipped for something you had a little bit slightly higher likelihood of facing. Probably not that big of a difference, but when it comes down to matches like this, it is the little things that end up, tipping things in one player or another's favor. So worth thinking about.
Oh, it's definitely worth thinking about. And, I think that with these Demon Hunter lists against the Rogue specifically, I just want to favor getting onto the board as best as I can. And I think that's what ETC is planning to do, with just a really balanced suite of stuff. Not like too many spells that he's going to be holding and not really playing much of, or not too many heavy minions and hoping that he just draws the right side of the curve. I like it. It's pretty well balanced.
I agree. ETC tossing a couple cards back. His opening hand, grabbing the Battlefield, or the Battle Fiend and the Beaming Sidekick, kind of the dynamic duo of the early game for a lot of Demon Hunters. And Fr0zen bringing his Rogue. And this Rogue is more of the secret variety. We've We've seen both today, but this one is the one that doesn't opt for the shadow package. Or the stealth package, rather.
Job's done.
Hey, I got you, friend.
I got you, friend. You're a battle fiend. Kind of weird that he befriended a battle fiend.
Beaming sidekick's just a very social creature, or
I guess so.
Minion here.
If I had to, battle fiends are hard to tame. I'd be careful with that.
Wisely attaching the health onto the battle fiend, so that way backstab can't really get to it.
Yeah.
And ETC does have the second Battlefiend follow-up, so this is tough for Fr0zen, but he is also approaching that Seal Fate turn, so...
Right, and you always expect Rogue to have a little bit of a slower start in most games anyway.
I think Fr0zen is thinking about if he wants to Shadow Step, and, leaving up this 1-1 just to get picked off is potentially super dangerous, because ETC will guarantee pick it up with his hero power.
Yeah. It is interesting. It is a 0-mana spell too, so you can combo into a lot of things with it now. So I like it. You don't throw it away needlessly, but you save it to become, a combo piece later on.
Well, I mean, it also leaves up the opportunity for evil. Yeah, it leaves up the opportunity for evil miscreant,
Right.
which is a potentially big swingy moment. Evil miscreant is probably the best card that you can have as rogue versus aggressive decks.
That's what he was probably looking for with this draw. But no such luck. A little bit more expensive hand for Fr0zen this time. Fr0zen Shadow Weaver on the other side, though, would be the on-curve play for ETC, but do you kind of feel like you're throwing away the freeze effect if you use it here, or is it just worth it to develop the board state? I would imagine he probably would just develop it. Yeah.
Yeah, develop the board state for sure. Just pressure your opponent here. Not much to think about for Fr0zen. Just take out the highest big threat here.
Right.
Got to take out that Fr0zen Shadow Weaver. Battlefiend has more potential to be higher damage, but
wow.
Oh my
Overseer gets
goodness.
drawn. It does not get any more perfect than that. Hero power, kill the 1-1, get another 2-2. Big swing for ETC there, but there are some options for Fr0zen here. You've got the big shield of Galakron. If you draw a secret, praise Galakron as well.
Yeah, he's looking for pretty much just the Rush Lackey or the Cobalt Lackey.
Yeah.
Mine's Cobalt Lackey.
Lackey.
That's a big moment here, but will it be enough? Because, I mean, ETC still has a ton of damage. The Gladebound Depth and the Warglaves.
Getting rid of the Overseer, though, feels really good.
Oh my gosh.
Warglaves. ETC just keeps drawing exactly what he needs. I mean, he already had one in his hand, but
right,
still.
but now it's basically like this Battlefiend will get crazy big, and he has follow-up to it as well.
I was wondering if he was just going to go all in with the weapon, and it looks like he might. Yeah. Use up the whole
7
thing.
damage. You're going to turn that down?
Yep. Seems pretty good. And he can Warglaive again next turn.
Yeah, I mean, this is too much to come back from. I think Rogue can't withstand this much pressure and damage. Now it's like ETC is within that range where if he just has any form of damage, this game is over. And that's a turn 6 victory. Battlefiend goes unanswered. This was played on turn 1.
Wow. He just did not die. Lived the entire time, and that's going to be Fr0zen bowing out. And so ETC gives himself a little bit of a head start in this series, a series that is crucial if he wants to stay in Hearthstone Grandmasters.
Yep, huge victory for him, and Fr0zen's not settled into what he is for his playoff position just yet, but Demon Hunter, when you play Rogue and you're playing Hunter, I think you're expecting Demon Hunter to get a win.
Sure.
It's more about whether or not Fr0zen has the Druid and the Warlock. I think Demon Hunter most likely for this series was going to get a win for ETC.
So now Fr0zen, obviously all 3 decks still remaining. Looks like it's going to be the Hunter for him next. Taking a look at this Highlander Hunter for Fr0zen. Seems pretty run-of-the-mill.
Yeah, just looking to see if there's anything specifically worth calling out. This is a list that is playing the Bone Chewer Brawler at 2 mana. That I like that. It's a nice little touch. Oh, okay. I like this one. This one has a Dragon Maw Poacher at 4. Dragon Maw Poacher is a tech card for specifically other dragons, and I think that's a specific nod to Quest Warlock because that does tend to have a lot of dragons in their deck, and so you can use it to counter pressure them.
That's a good point. Yeah, that could come in handy later. ETC does have the Warlock in his lineup. And it's going to be what we see right now.
Quest Warlock, pretty straightforward. I don't see anything that sticks out to me in particular about it.
No, not really.
The real differences seems to be whether or not people play like 2 Questing Explorers or they play 1 Ooze. I've seen some lists play like some extra greedy top end like Siamat, which honestly is not the worst idea because it's just another big bomb to get for free or to potentially just play on curve.
Yeah. That's what I was going to say is that the single Explorer is maybe a little bit different than what you usually see. A couple little techs in there, though, that might help him. I mean, certainly the Ooze is going to be useful against Hunter in a lot of games.
Oof.
Wow, there it is.
Might be helpful, might not be helpful against this Felmaw. Oh my gosh. If he didn't draw this Blazing Battle Mage... I don't know. So this is a discussion I've had with TJ several times. I said every time I did not point a Felmaw, I've regretted it. I said that every single time.
It seems good, though, doesn't it? I mean, it seems because you get it off a lot earlier than you would have normally. You can still... The only problem is that it does give you an awkward turn 2 in a lot of situations, which is where we're at now. Because now it's like, well, I could Hero Power, but if I don't play the Battle Mage, then I don't establish my board, but then you end up just floating 1 mana, which Fr0zen's okay with in this case.
Right, but now he's in a position where he plays a 6 Swamp Ooze to get in the way, and that still doesn't guarantee anything. And if the worst case scenario happens, the Felmaw goes face, ETC loses it, this Ooze, and doesn't get the benefit from it. He's just going to willingly take the damage.
Wow, that is brave. I mean, there is a good amount of healing in this deck, but still.
I mean, this Animal Companion could be really punishing.
Yep, certainly could be.
Okay.
It's the extra damage with Leok, so doesn't get the Huffer, but still.
Oh, wow.
It's starting to look like Face Hunter.
That's a huge draw. Wow, I can't even tell you how important that draw was with the Morag Artificer.
Now, that's the question, right? I mean, you'd think you would pair that with the Morag Artificer to just gain the 8 life back. I can't think of anything else you'd rather do. You need the healing.
Yeah. That lifesteal is massive.
Yeah.
Wait, but I mean, does Fr0zen do it right back with Corrosive Breath?
Well, I mean, it's yeah, I would say so. Oh. Morag Artificer. That's how it goes sometimes. At least you don't take 6 to your face, you know?
Right, yeah. Oh, that would be just absolute insanity.
At least they didn't make the card that way. Dark Skies is a board clear for ETC right now.
Yeah, that's another nice pickup here.
You don't get to put any minions out, but the Crazed Netherwing is going to leave the Leok at 1 health, so you probably just want to Dark Skies here? Or do you tap? ETC's been tapping a lot. He's doing it.
Oh, wow. He's so greedy.
Wow. Yeah. That is a brave thing to do against a Hunter, I think.
Yeah,
even if it is a Highlander Hunter.
Quite frankly, I'm not sure if that's the right call. Like, you're not... I don't think you finished a quest a lot against Hunter.
Yeah.
I think, like, for example, if ETC... So the other alternative was Dark Sky's Acidic Swamp Ooze. I know you miss out the weapon, but, like, it's like Fr0zen's at that point where if you develop weapons, he's actually forgoing minion development, and you're kind of happy about that.
That's true.
And then this turn, he'd be able to clear that dragon, and then be ahead on board, and then leverage things like his taunts into a defensive Fr0zen. And I think that now that line is not available to him. Now he has to play cards like Arnos Broodmother, or he has to hope that Plot Twist can fail him.
So the Broodmother can't go toe-to-toe with the big old imp at least. So how he taps into Dark Skies again. What?
Huge
I mean, it's your
pickup.
second Dark Skies, but...
yes, I like that a lot.
I guess you're kind of committed, right? If you tapped, you're sort of under the assumption that you either use... That'd be so risky if he plot twisted right now.
Is it really a plot twist? There's just I can't be convinced. You just cannot convince me that leaving up 5 when you're at 12 and hoping that you draw a Broodmother is gonna work out for you. I feel like it's not.
It's pretty suicidal against a hunter.
Yeah.
You know there's gonna be damage coming in from hand.
The good news is that both Dark Skies are used, so Fellwing has even fewer ways for your opponent to clear it.
That's a very good point. Good Fellwing hero power here.
Yeah. I like that. That just looks the best to me. The alternative is just to play Varanus for sheer tempo.
Yeah.
The 7/6. I don't know. Hero powers deal 1/6 of your opponent's life.
Yep. Rain of Fire. So, ETC is not going to complete the quest anytime soon.
Well, if he plot twists, he's almost there. But
yeah, but then he's almost dead too.
Yeah. Oh wow, really? I kind of thought we were gonna board clear here. Oh, it's because he's anticipating Diamond Tamer Brand coming out.
Yeah, that I suppose there is that. And you do have to sort of assume that you're going to draw at least one Broodmother in most cases. And if you get 2, it's even better. How do you deal?
Does it matter though? How do you deal with this 5/4?
Well, that's the thing. But did he have anything to really deal with it anyway? No.
He had the Rain of Fire plus the Crazed Netherwing.
Ah, you're right. That would have been 4. That would have been 4 damage.
Oh, jeez.
That would have done it.
This Dragon Maw Poacher. He also got a ton of information from that play. No dragon in hand.
Well, there's a tech.
Yeah, that Dragon Maw Poacher coming in. I like to see a hero power here come out of Fr0zen as well. The 6/4 is totally fine, but I just like the idea of draining your opponent's life every single turn and putting them under the gun.
Well, that's exactly where ETC is right now. Zephyrus is not active yet. Keldon was not drawn this turn, so he would only kill 1 minion. Life tap. Well, he does get the Nether Breath, but he does finish that. Okay.
Right. He could tap into a Twisting Nether. That would buy him some time.
Tap into Twisting Nether. He could tap into something else, like a Dragon Queen Fr0zen.
It's still an 8/8 though.
Right.
So I think you still play this. I think you Nether Breath and obviously kill the Dragon Maw Poacher. Then I think you still want to play the Dragon Queen just as an 8/8.
I don't know what else you would do, right? I mean, you need to establish something on the board. You can't remove anything else.
Unless you need to get so lucky that you get the ability to play Dragon Queen, and then you get like a Nazari.
Yeah.
But now Fr0zen's like on a draw to win the game.
Right.
At 7 damage, 8 through the Desert Spear.
So it's not quite enough, I believe.
No, but Ace Corrupted deals with the dragon.
Yep. Doesn't even care about dealing with the dragon, honestly. Guess you could do 4. Yeah, I guess so. All right, why not? Kind of secures it. Zephyrus is active. Alex is too.
Right. Alex Fr0zen, but like... Yeah, ETC's using all of his cards defensively, and that's usually a position that Warlock is losing.
Yeah.
Varanus here is super nutty, too. Oh my gosh. Okay, so he has Varanus, and he has Primordial Explorer. And then, even if ETC deals with his entire board, he has Dragon Queen, Fr0zen, or Nagrance.
Yep.
That's just
looking pretty over for ETC.
Nasty. Yeah.
definitely appearing like Fr0zen's going to tie the series up.
Is Fr0zen thinking about Dragon Queen here? I mean, your opponent can't Alex you down, and you already saw a Soulfire, so your opponent's Malygos opportunities are really slim, even if he happens to tap into a runner, or rather draw into it.
I tend to like Varanus a little bit more, just because you're still worried about things like Twisting Nether, right? If you go for a big Dragon Queen turn.
Right, good point.
Yeah, doesn't do anything silly like take 8 to the face. Of course, you got the Scarab for the clear.
Right. And again, I know developing Primordial Explorer here is fine. I also like Hero Power just to shut down the percentage of health. This does 22% of his remaining life.
Yeah. Plot twist.
And like he has to Zephyrs for Shadowward Ruin, and he has 4 mana remaining. I guess you could tap first.
Could go for
Hero Power first.
Okay, Siphon Soul as well gives you some. But yeah, Shadowward Ruin. There you go.
Oh, he wants one more chance to go for it. That's why he Zephyrs first, so he can get the guaranteed clear.
Yep. Recoil. Well, there's a Twisting Nether. It's Nether Wing.
Oh,
well,
okay.
All right.
Every little bit helps.
I guess. Yeah.
But there's a high chance for lethal right here, right now.
No. 6-star Prime, though.
Well, the Grand Slam has a high chance of killing. Just
yeah, that's true. That's true.
Straight up. And at worst, you clear the board and set your opponent to 1 health. So, I mean...
Sounds like a good deal to me.
I feel like that's a pretty good 50-50. Unless I'm missing something here.
Looks like he wants to go for the Zixor Prime anyway. I mean, you still get the board clear. And it's kind of like you set yourself up with a guaranteed almost win next turn.
He's so ahead. It would have to be specifically Keladon to give him a chance to survive.
Brood Mother gives him a little bit of healing, and he's going to get a 4/6 taunt as well. So that's actually not a bad turn for ETC.
Yeah. Not Twisting Nether.
Scale Rider plus Hero Power would get ETC very low. I mean, Grand Slam is still an option.
Yeah, although I guess the way Fr0zen's committed to it is the Grand Slam would be the finisher.
Yeah. Oh no.
So right, now you can craze Netherwing into Grand Slam.
Yeah.
And then that is, I think,
that's almost. It's got to be lethal. I mean, how does ETC clear this board right now?
Tap into Malygos. Oh. Okay.
Well,
Malygos would have let him clear the board.
Sure.
Of course it's the right way.
One more draw. Or not.
Yeah, well, I mean, he's going to die. Quest and
Doesn't
Explorer.
have a quest, yeah.
Not going to be enough here, and Fr0zen gets to end this game in style. Do it. Yes!
Yep. Crazy another wing, and is going to Grand Slam him. Here come the Kodos.
Oh, yeah.
I used to farm them for their leather. Now, they are farming ETC for wins.
Well, I mean, Fr0zen ties it up, so it's going to be a best of 3 reset, effectively, right? Now that we have that 100 game to win against the Quest Warlock. So it seems like a couple of matchups that we kind of expected to go that way end up falling to the favorables. Then it comes down to like Druid Warlock versus Rogue and Demon Hunter.
Right. So yeah, like I said, Fr0zen with the Rogue and the Demon Hunter. What do you think about these two? The lineup, if you look at what people have left. Is your confidence in the Rogue properly shaken to where you think ETC has a chance to win this?
Yeah, I'm taking a look at the deck list right now, and the one thing that is interesting is that how Rogue started squeezing in 1 prep these days to get in like questing adventurer opportunities to like really get far ahead early. And I would say that this kind of Rogue makes more sense to me. Because I feel like Rogue, if you try to play as a straight-up mid-range deck, you can play a bunch of other decks that are better at what it does. But if you play it as a, well, kind of an aggressive cheese deck, Like you get an early Edwin, you get an early questing adventure, you go for like Galakron or Heist Baron. It feels a little bit better at what it does. So I think this kind of rogue with the questing adventures and the prep is better fit for the lineup. So it makes a lot more sense to me than the the other secret Galakron rogues we've seen in the past.
So ETC opting to go with the Warlock again. So we got Rogue versus Warlock. Functionally, like we talked about, just more or less back to a best of 3 between these two players.
Right.
But a lot on the line. Fr0zen, if he moves to 5-1, would be in a great spot to move on to the playoffs. And ETC, if he moved to 2-4, would maybe be able to dodge auto relegation. You know, I like Gul'dan's dedication to pointy hats. Like, he could really wear anything. But he picked the classic sort of like pointy wizard hat.
Yeah. I fear
hood kind of thing.
I fear a man who is unafraid to wear pointy caps.
Yeah, I mean, if you're gonna wear like a pointy cap hood thing, at least back it up by the ability to like remove people's souls from their bodies. I guess.
That's right. He's got a lot of bite to his bark.
Right, or at least have some blood of Manaroth with you to just share and get people to see things your way. I guess you could say.
Totally. So taking a look at the early game here for both players, ETC seems like he plays his Warlock very tap-oriented, wants to draw a ton of cards, and he forgoes any kind of development, but it's not like he had many options to do that either.
I do kind of worry, though, because it seems like when we've seen this deck really excel today, it's when it's been played more as just a straight-up control deck and less as a quest deck, right? Where the quest is a priority. I kind of like it better where the quest is sort of a secondary thing and you're more just trying to, play a normal game of Hearthstone, right? Respond to your opponent's board, build presence on your side. It seems to be more successful at that style.
Yeah,
just from the sample size.
Maybe TJ was right all along. It's not that key of a card.
Maybe after this weekend the quest comes out of the key cards again. Maybe we rename it.
It's
not Quest Warlock anymore.
Not savage. This is a really good recognition from Fr0zen. Playing dirty tricks, although it's not like he had much alternatives. It's just that it's a good thing to do, so that way when your opponent inevitably uses the coin, you get to draw. And now, there's a lot of interesting things Fr0zen can do. He just drew his questing adventure, and I wonder if that's a setup, or if he wants to do it on the following turn.
I will act as your scapegoat.
I don't know. 5 mana? Do you think you have enough to build a big one? I guess he's going to wait. So Shield of Galakron is going to be played this time. It is a 4/5, so I guess you get the Invoke, you get the Lackey, and you get, like roughly about as big as a minion as your questing adventure would have been anyway on that first turn.
Yeah, it was too much mana to flow. I think the Shield of Galakron does come down there, and then trying to figure it out. But his hand is quite dynamic. He can go for a slow, methodical approach by curving out. He can also just explode onto the board next turn if ETC is not careful.
Getting the Kartut Defender as well is something that I always absolutely hate when I'm playing against a Rogue and they have that. Because it's just, combined with everything else Rogue has to deal with, it's just such an annoying card to get around. In Rogue specifically.
Healing is supposed to be a weakness of Rogue.
Yeah, so having access to that in such a strong way, like the Kartut Defender gives you, I think really kind of gives Rogue the edge. A lot of situations. Evil Miscreant is the play, so can definitely do that. But his hand is pretty full. Do you go for the big Edwin here? Or the questing adventure? With a 5/2 on the other side of the board, it's risky unless you luck into like a Cobalt Lackey or something.
I don't think you go for the Edwin here. I think you probably end up playing Evil Miscreant. Oh.
Interesting. All right.
Oh, Oh
Whoa,
boy, there are some
okay.
spicy combat tricks available to him. Okay, he chooses
No
Shadow Step.
kidding. I love the Shadow Step.
Yeah. I was thinking immediately my eyes went to Togwoggle scheme and thinking like, what can we do with that? But the Shadow Step with Edwin in hand, that's just
Seriously.
way too good.
Yeah, just slam him. You're like, all right, I'm removing,
Okay.
3/6 off the board.
You might be able to convince me that Dark Skies did, considering that. But the thing is, you're going to be floating mana, and you're still not like close to your quest completion.
Sure.
So do you have to plot twist here as well?
Is it really the greatest plot twist?
Well, it's the idea is that it helps you get to the quest, but like
Sure.
you're basically just stalling out and hoping that you can finish the quest next turn. Which, based off this hand, it looks like he can. So that ends up being a very nice plot twist.
Yeah.
But he's still a little bit off. He draws one card naturally, then he can tap and Questing Explorer, and then he has 2 Mortal Coils. So maybe.
Fr0zen side of things. Cartoot Defender is going to be the play, apparently.
Yeah, so Fr0zen needed something to stick onto the board and Shadow Step it. That was the big reason why I got excited by the Kilodon, was just wiping everything and developing. But
Yeah.
In hindsight, I think ETC's idea, like reasoning, it makes a lot of sense. Ooh, Sense Demons.
He needs it too right now. He needs the healing from the Nazi Broodmothers.
Yeah, that's big.
Yeah. If he can hit both of them,
Heal
for another
Demons, Questing Explorer, and tap is finished quest.
Just one. But yeah, you're right. He should be able to finish the quest this game, or this, hopefully this game, but possibly this turn. Definitely this turn if he does tap Questing Explorer, like you're saying.
But the problem with that is then he'd be at full hand because both those cards both of those actions give him a card in hand.
That is true.
So
you've already got the Malagos in your hand, so you don't need to worry about burning that at least. But you're not going to be able to use your hero power from finishing the quest anyway, so maybe wait for next turn? Yeah, I think that's a safe play. You weren't going to benefit from completing the quest that turn anyway, so, why burn a card?
Give me a quest.
are we ready for this big questing adventure turn?
I'm ready. Let's go on a quest. Our dude Defender gets a little bit more power from the praise Galakron, and this is just going to give Fr0zen more one-cost minions to use to make that questing adventure even bigger.
Yeah. I wonder if... Oh, that's funny, a face stopper. I wonder if he wants to commit this Edwin. The Edwin might be too much to commit because you're walking straight into Twisting Nether at that point.
Yeah. Yeah, it really seems like that would be a bit too much. Even though you could make a huge Edwin,
Right.
Which is tempting, because then you're basically saying, all right, well, if he doesn't have this, then I probably just win.
Yeah.
That said, you do know ETC is going to complete the quest next turn, so he's got, like, multiple chances to find it, even if he doesn't have it. This is a risk. He's not going to do it, though. Shadow Step
Ah, I like it.
on the Lackey.
Yeah.
The Ethereal
this,
Lackey.
this gives him the opportunity to actually play the Lackey plus Heistbear and Togwoggle plus Treasure plus Edwin.
Yeah.
That's a really good spot here for Fr0zen. I was thinking about Shadow Stepping the Miscreant just to get highest amount of value for the Edwin, but this is like both a tempo and Edwin turn, and maximizing Edwin turn in the same breath, while also maximizing the amount of resources he gets. Really
I
clever.
like it, yeah. I think it's a very measured, smart way of playing. ETC
Totally.
trying to figure out what to do with his hand right now. Eventually, he's going to need to face that Cartoot Defender.
So many possibilities.
Right,
Now you
because
just-
that Cartoon Defender, even though it's a defensive card, is going to hit him for 4 a turn. That's too much to handle over the course of the game.
Yeah. But then you also have to worry about the 7/7 as well, which is going to just keep getting bigger.
Yeah, I think Keldan into tap, or into hero power rather. It's not really a tap anymore. Oh, he's gonna plot twist again.
Plot twist.
Wow. I mean,
all right.
That's such a good name for a card. That was such
Seriously.
a twist.
Yeah, I mean, hey, he got some pretty good stuff. Got one Brood Mother, so back up to 22.
Okay.
And yeah, that is a hand that is capable of dealing with some pretty serious boards.
Right. So now Fr0zen's like, okay, I saw really weak defensive play. He only killed one of my minions. Maybe you don't have to commit to a Heist Baron, or maybe if you do, you don't have to play the Edwin.
Yeah. Possibly. Kronk's time. Well, maybe
Right.
Fr0zen's thinking about it.
I like holding on to Kronks as a potential way to end the game after you draw Galakron, but at the same time, it is a 6/6 on the board.
I guess so, but you kind of figure that they've got some sort of board clear in their hand because you just saw them plot twist, right?
You'd think so, but that was the same thing of the previous turn.
I suppose.
ETC
that's
had
fair.
plot twist beforehand, and it still couldn't clear it.
That's true. Another Morg Artificer. Do something kind of crazy like double Morg. Rain of Fire or something.
More
Or not.
Dark Skies.
Dark Skies,
I don't
yeah.
think is enough to clear the board because he doesn't. I don't think he. I think he needs a little bit extra, so I think Nether Breath would have to come into play there. I'll turn, and the thing is, he wants to tap. Finds nothing.
Yeah.
So I guess it is Moarg. Dark Skies. Dark Skies is 18. There's 4 plus 6 plus 7 plus another
17.
4.
Well, that's why I think you'd need to double Morg, which sounds terrible.
I think you'd rather just Nether Breath then. Oh, okay.
Oh my goodness.
So he's just gonna so double Morg and then Nether
Okay.
Breath.
Yeah. For the big heal. Okay.
All right. I'm down.
Yeah. Use it for the big heal, sure. For a second, I was like, is he actually going to do it? No, I like this. He's going to take a good amount of damage, though.
Right. Fr0zen has the Heist Baron Togwaggle ready to go.
Right.
He's watching ETC kind of squirm to individual attack. That was just a 6/6, right? Like, these are all appetizers, the opening acts, if you will, before the actual main event. The heavyweight title is about to begin with Edwin Van Cleave.
True. Big Edwin is going to be on the scene soon. There is Togwaggle, so going to grab his Wondrous Wand, I would imagine.
So Wondrous Wand here might also not be the pick. This is something that is like heavily debated a lot. But Zarek's Crown has been rising in popularity for tempo options, for the Rogue in particular. So I think there was merit, and you can see Fr0zen even hesitate for just like beat, just to make sure that that's what he wanted to pick.
Okay, yeah.
There was merit to not picking that, as much as that might be like the auto pick for a lot of people.
Well, you'd think as time goes on, people will figure out more opportunities to use
He
different cards in the Togwaggle.
They got the Face Stalker value. They pulled the secret.
Why not?
That's awesome.
Feels good. So, Morg Artificer means that Nether Drake is a board clear on its own, right? Aside from the Reborn Cartouche Defender, of course.
Yeah, but if I'm ETC, I really don't want to use this Twisting Nether unless I have to.
Oh, I mean a Nether Drake.
Oh, sorry, the Crazed Netherwing, yeah.
Or Netherwing, right? Because the
Yeah,
damage
that's
gets
good.
buffed, so...
Yep, you're right.
Yeah.
The Netherwing will almost clear everything off, and then Dark Skies will clear everything else off. I like that.
Yep. Well, Netherwing can take out everything except for the Cartouche Defender.
You'd be off. You wouldn't kill the Heist Baron.
So the Netherwing damage isn't buffed by Moarg?
Morg is only spells, if I recall correctly.
Okay.
So minion effects don't get to, like, for example, Cobalt Lackey would be able to automatically kill the Morg, I think,
Sure.
if I recall.
Twisting Nether is the play from ETC?
Yeah, I don't know if I wanted to play the Netherwing versus the Netherwing Dark Skies versus just the Twisting Nether there.
All right, Wonderswan, what do you get?
Another invocation. I
Whoa.
think that's the 4th one. It is.
Yeah, it seems that way.
That's big. And now Fr0zen can just play that big Edwin. He saw Keladan and he saw Twisting Nether. I mean,
He could make a huge Edwin this turn.
yeah, he could really lay it on thick.
Yeah, the biggest of all Edwins.
Oh, the thickest of cleaves.
He's gone from Big Edwin to Thick Cleef. That's his new name.
That's right. Daddy Von Cleef. He is huge.
Daddy Von Cleef, yeah.
And this Cartouche Defender costs 4, I believe, so we can't play it. That was interesting. I kind of thought he was going to do a different battle cry, but
I mean, I guess it's a little bit awkward, but you can still make that giant Edwin. He's going to restrain himself, though. He could have made a bigger one, but a 1616
yeah, he could have made
is big enough.
An even bigger one.
It
This
could
is
have been a
just
bigger
like
Edwin.
Super Saiyan 2, right? Like
That's right.
yeah, Goku doesn't have to go to Super Saiyan 3 a lot to beat his opponents.
This is Edwin with like longer hair and blue eyes. It's not like Edwin with like the waist length, spiky yellow hair,
So many
and blue eyes. You know,
possibilities.
The quarantine hair.
exactly. That's what I'm gonna look like at the end of this.
Gosh, I'm in a lot of like different hangouts or Zoom calls, right?
Sure.
During these because everyone's working from home, and like just watching the progression of everyone's hair length is quite the sight to behold.
Because I feel like I can cut it myself. I feel, part of me has that confidence, but another smarter part of me is like,
I know.
no,
It's like, hey, just let
just-
it just ride out.
just accept that you're gonna look like Uncle
Yeah.
Joey from Full House for a while, and don't ruin your hair. What little you have left.
Jeez, well, ETC is
What do you
he's
do?
got a lot of problems to handle here. He's just gonna go ahead and try to clear off as much as he can instead of this taunt, but this taunt is not gonna be enough because of Blackjack Stunner. Oh, he doesn't even
Yeah.
kill! He
No.
doesn't even kill!
Not even close.
And he also didn't have enough mana for the Crazed Netherwing!
Thinks about the Soulfire. GG with that one in. Fr0zen takes the
Yikes.
win with the rogue Big Edwin. He was just too intimidating. ETC couldn't even keep it together for that turn. He was like, "That's the biggest Edwin I've ever seen." Scary.
Well,
Thick Edwin.
I mean, that didn't exactly go the way that he was expecting it, and that is match point for Fr0zen. I gotta
Yeah.
say that I think ETC's Warlock play pretty shaky. It's
I would agree.
it's not as solid as it is for some of the other players. And to be fair, he's introduced with some tough spots. And also, I want to say that outside of that, maybe one Shadow Step play with the Edwin, I think Fr0zen played very well that game.
Mhm.
So, a couple of micro things that are really hard. Fr0zen is just one of the technically like strongest players in Americas when he's on point. He does tend to sometimes fail spectacularly, highlighted by his Winter Championship performance a couple years back, where he just kind of like kept misplaying and somehow fell into lethal anyways.
Oh,
But when Fr0zen's on point, I think most people, especially his peers, agree that he is a killer. Highlighted, of course, by his World Championship second place back in 2017.
doing very well in Group B, despite the fact that he is in, well, I should say Division B, rather.
Yeah.
But it comes down to this. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say that this is a good hand. Oh, that's a good draw too from ETC.
Yeah, no kidding. But do you just go ahead and you do the 3 damage? I feel like I've seen a lot of
Yes.
Druid players opt for the draw, and even go as far as something like Moonfire to just clear it out.
Yes. That, I mean, Druids who Fungal Fortunes here, I wish I had their bravery. I really do. I wish I had whatever like, pre-workout they were drinking before they started queuing up some Hearthstone games. I
It's
want
just
some of that.
It's just dirt mixed with water.
With raw eggs.
It's a
And
druid
just the
pre-workout,
yolks.
right?
Just the yolks.
That's right. A little bit of shell too, though.
Oh god. For the crunch, you just need the texture, you know?
That's right. Random mushrooms you found in the forest.
Oh, that's the fungal fortunes we're looking for.
There you go.
Easy to
It's still a lot of aggression coming in from Fr0zen here.
Yeah.
Fr0zen Shadow Weaver.
Hey.
His namesake, more or less.
He should
Making it
cosplay as a Shadow Weaver. I want to, more specifically, I want to see him wear that dress.
Well, we all have our dreams. I won't deny you yours.
Oh god. How about this dream scenario?
Yeah.
Warglaze of Azanov.
Point into that. And he's going to be able to clear a lot of this and make a big battle fiend. Not as big as Big Edwin, but big battle fiend is right there too.
Yeah.
Clearing,
Because if he wants to trade it down or push 10.
Well, that's the thing, yeah.
Are
Are you really that worried about the 2/2s?
Yeah.
I feel like you should always be worried about every minion in Hearthstone to a certain extent. But I think
like
this is a
this.
nice middle ground, yeah.
Yeah. Another Glowfly Swarm, though, is really hard.
It is, because you're not going to have another Warglaves. Unless he
Are you
draws
sure
off the
about
top here.
that?
You never know.
Oh, it's the other 5
No.
cost card. That's insane.
Yep. Unfortunately, it's a 5-cost card that really can't be played on turn 5 in most cases.
Here's the thing. Fr0zen has dealt pretty much half of Druid's life.
Sure.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, Soul of the Forest.
Oh
wow.
my gosh.
Wow. This is a turn. Yeah, I mean, Fr0zen, you can't blame him for going to face here.
Oh no, this was a sequencer of BTC.
Yep. Yeah, I could have had one more.
It's the correct order, I think, was to Soul of the Forest first, trade 2 of them, and then play Power of the Wild. It's okay. He's in such a good position. Doesn't really matter. It's a very, very minor technical mistake, unless.
Well, that's the thing. It doesn't matter until it does, right? So.
And that's it.
Yeah, he knows. So Fr0zen bowing out quickly in that game, and it is 2-2. So ETC coming back, and we're going to have a what is it going to be? It's going to be a Demon Hunter versus Warlock matchup, and so that brings us back to ETC's Warlock play and how it's maybe been a little bit lacking today. Maybe a little bit too aggressive on the tapping and the card draws, which you definitely can't do against a class like Demon Hunter.
Yes, Demon Hunter is exceptional at pressuring, and like I think that if ETC still is tunneling on trying to life tap as much as possible and draw cards, he's in for a bad time.
Yeah. We'll see. I feel like those other games are just practice, right? ETC, he's been like mentally sort of going over the last few games in his mind. He's like, okay, I can see where I'm weak. I know maybe I need to be more board-centric and less quest-centric in my play. So we'll see if that comes through.
Absolutely. So looking forward to see what's going to be the conclusion of this, because some pretty big ramifications if ETC takes this loss.
Yeah.
We might have a legit 4-way tie for bottom 4 at the end of the week.
That is insane.
When relegation is on the line, that is heartbreaking. You're just like, you have the same record, but at the same time, it's like,
you have blame but yourself, really, right?
So yeah, I mean, you've had 7 weeks, and you're telling me over the course of 7 weeks you couldn't be able to separate yourself from the bottom 3 players of the of Grandmasters in your region. It's hard to say that. It's hard to say that confidently.
You know, it's tough to kind of accept that. You know, it takes a lot to become a Hearthstone Grandmaster. It takes a really good player to get there, but somebody has to get relegated, right? Somebody is going to be in that spot, you know?
Yeah, that's the thing, right? Like, even if we have 16 absolute killers,
Yeah, somebody's gonna be. At the
3
bottom
of them
that.
will get relegated. That's just what it is.
Right.
And hopefully that intensity, right, the nature of that competition is going to obviously ramp up the stakes, and people watching it get invested. There's a lot of fans right now sweating for their favorite streamers and players right now who are in Grandmasters and on the line for relegation.
Sure enough.
And some players already have gotten effectively relegated from Asia Pacific and other regions. They're like kind of looking at their records, it's not looking good. So
Yeah.
we'll leave it all on the line here. Potentially a career-defining game here for ETC.
Yeah. He's had a couple chances. Now he's got to play this Warlock perfectly.
And lest we remind you that ETC was in a very similar position last season, where he narrowly, by the skin of his teeth, was able to survive relegation. And instead, it was Race and Strifeker who got relegated.
Yeah. Mortal Coil is the draw.
Yes, and right off the bat, you can see
Perfect.
ETC with a different approach if he chooses to Rainfire and Mortal Coil over tap.
I think I would pretty much definitely recommend that. I guess the nice thing, honestly, is that playing against Demon Hunter does sort of force you into a more board control centric style, right? Where maybe against like a road, you're like, oh well, I've got some time, you know.
Oh,
this is such a great recovery.
Devastating. He just
Wow.
used Rain of Fire. Oh, does he have to
That's
Soul
so
Fire
rough.
this?
I guess you do.
Yes. Okay, right. Soul Fire discards. The coin.
Oh,
That's great.
I mean, it's great and it's not great, but we don't know which it is yet, you know?
Okay, that's fair. Like, what if you needed to coin out something next turn?
Yeah, exactly. Or if he needed to coin out anything at any point in this game, right?
This is such a dicey life tap, too.
Yeah.
Oh, and he's going to shuffle in the Acidic Swamp Ooze. Come back soon, homie.
I feel like you have to, though, because what other options did he have to handle this? It's only a 2-2, but you know it's not going to be that for long.
That is a good point. Now he doesn't have a way to remove that weapon. Warglaze of Azeroth is a threat for sure.
Volterra Scoundrel comes out.
I think I like Chaos Strike simply because he has a Warglaves, and that allows him to push. I like setting up this Battle Mage here. Although your opponent did just plot twist, there's a chance that he might have that Crazed Netherwing.
That is true.
I definitely like hero powering. It's about whether or not we play the Battle Mage with it. Not playing the Battle Mage, does that make you vulnerable to a Dark Skies? No, he would have gotten blown out either way by Dark Skies.
Well, it's kind of like pick your poison, right? Because if you play that, sure, Dark Skies is still a problem, but you're going into a turn 5 against a Quest Warlock, and you're, like you mentioned, you're really afraid of that Crazed Netherwing. So, I think Fr0zen just kind of respecting what was likely to be in his opponent's hand. He's still fine, 10 health for ETC.
Yeah, this is dicey still. ETC does have the Nether Breaths, though. That's a really important...
Debating on if he wants to do something before Nether Breathing.
I think he wants to Nether Breath and then plot twist.
Yeah. Seems like that would make the most sense.
Trying to hope for the Acidic Swamp Ooze, his second attempt. Does he find it?
Nazi Broodmother would be nice as well. Gets another breath back again. Completes the quest at least, so he can use his hero power for that.
Tap into
Zephyrus, not active.
I see.
And what damage does Fr0zen have access to?
Glaive Bound Adept.
Wow. That's devastating.
And Fr0zen's got lethal from hand next turn.
Yep. And ETC has the Abyssal Summoner, I suppose, just to throw a taunt up. I mean, he can play the Nether Breath too to heal. But you can't do Nether Breath and Abyssal Summoner. Get some Mortal Coil off the hero power.
Yeah, that's not good. And he goes to 11. So there's 3, 4 with the hero power, 6 with the chaos strike, 8 with the twin slice. Fr0zen is very close, dangerously close.
Oh no, Skull of Gul'dan.
Oh no,
He could still draw into lethal. 3 mana Skull of Gul'dan. Oh, it's another chaos strike. Is that enough? 4, 5, 6, 9. No, I think you'd be
1 damage off.
1 short. Yeah, yeah, I believe you'd be 1 short.
It's not over for ETC yet.
No,
Hey, I got you,
Looking
friend.
pretty over though.
it is definitely looking over. Because Fr0zen's going to do so much damage to him this turn that using a Crazed Netherwing is essentially a death sentence in itself, you know? He needs to draw like both Broodmothers. Oh, the Artificer comes down after he uses a Nether Breath.
Yeah, that was the second Nether Breath, if I recall correctly. He needs Alex
was,
Straza. Sense
Oh, hey.
Demons helps. That heals.
So he can do this and then theoretically get 2 Broodmothers and then he can Rain of Fire, but
Just
can't play the
Mortal Coil.
Broodmother though. Mortal Coil? Does he have one in his hand?
He does. It causes 0 right now.
Oh yeah, you're right. He does. Yeah.
He doesn't want to deal 3 damage to himself.
I
Wait,
would.
he's dealing 2 damage to himself, or 1 damage to himself this way.
Well, Sense Demon should bring out both of the Broodmothers, right? Because
Right.
he had both of the Artificers already, I believe. Yeah, there we go. Hard to keep track of. There's Zephyrus as well.
Oh, he can play an Edwin Van Cleave here.
Well,
Is it Edwin or is it Healing Touch?
I'll go for the Edwin. Come on,
He's
yeah,
doing
that's
it.
right.
Yes.
He's got
He has a
big
2-turn
Edwin
lethal
of
if he
his
draws
own.
Alex Straza. That's awesome.
That's crazy if he actually ends up winning from here.
Ah, but the Fr0zen
Hero
Shadow
Scout.
Weaver is so nasty from this spot.
You're right. Forgot that was in the hand of Fr0zen. He can just stop that Edwin cold. No pun intended. Really, no pun intended.
Yeah, I bet. Twin Slice, 2 more damage added to it. That's 3 from the Warglaives, 4 from the Hero Power, 4 from the 2 Twin Slices. So that's 8 damage from hand. Not enough.
Demons.
Gets closer though every turn.
Right. The thing is, ETC is still like on a potential Alex Straza moment here for Fr0zen, so he probably doesn't want to all in on damage.
Not from right here. You have to freeze a Van Cleave.
Yeah, he has
right?
to freeze. This Blade Dance is a particularly interesting pickup because he has Warglaives of Azzinoth,
Yeah. Right.
and so he's going to Twin Slice Hero Power, then Blade Dance?
I guess so.
Going face.
I love it. Hey, I mean, Edwin is Fr0zen. I think you're okay.
Oh.
Twisting Nether.
Oh, wait.
no.
That'd
Oh,
give up his
no.
only way to win, though.
That's
do
the
you have
concern.
do you have the Hero Power here?
Yeah.
That
Yet
is
another
the
way to kill his own
same
Elden.
thing as Twisting Nether.
I guess you just go for the big taunt.
Oh, wait.
He could have Keldon and then thrown out the Abyssal Summoner too.
Yes, and I think that is a very important distinction to be made because now 2 power or 3 power rather can survive on the board if you don't use a Soulfire.
Right.
Oh no.
Huh.
Oh jeez.
All right.
Oh,
it's gonna be. Okay. That's not bad.
Well, is he just dead now?
Maybe.
Warglaives, Chaos Strike, all of the slices. Actually, Fr0zen did use one of the slices earlier, previously.
I was gonna say it's gonna take a lot to get through this taunt, but I guess you do have that second attack. You also have I-Beam.
Yeah. Oh, so he has I-Beam to guarantee the Blade Dance lands on all of these. The Blade Dance with the Moarg Artificer also doubles.
Oh, that's a good point. I forgot the Morag Artificer was out there.
Wow.
Dude.
Oh no, the Moarg sabotaging the Warlock once more.
Oh, that's insane. 2
Great
health.
understanding from Fr0zen to pick that ahead of time. I wasn't even thinking about that possibility later on of Moarg, but he immediately recognized that.
Oh, Alexstrasza, though. Alexstrasza
top.
yourself, and he's got a chance to live.
Fr0zen, you see it, you know it, and if you really want to show it. Wow, Quest Warlock.
Dude, this deck.
What a deck.
This deck just blows my mind.
It's not over 100% yet. Both
Nah,
players
not yet.
drawing to the very bottom of things.
Oh, okay. So there's another Wavebound Adept for 2 mana. Feels pretty good.
It is wild how swingy things are.
Yeah, this is a crazy last game. Because yeah, you can't get through the taunt. More damage, so you just have to try to kill as much as you can. Present as much of a threat as you can. At least he's at 29 HP, but
Hey, I got you, friend.
everything's there.
But now his last hope is like, oh, please don't have to craze Netherwing, and he very much does.
Yeah. And another Abyssal Summoner as well. So you got Morag Artificer.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter here.
Not really.
So,
Don't trust that guy anymore anyway.
Just has to play this crazed Netherwing.
You know, if ETC wins this too, that would unfortunately leave Papa Jason at the sole bottom spot in Division B. Crazed Netherwing comes through for the clear on his opponent's side.
Is it cold?
Morg Artificer. Do you think it was, I mean, do you think it was wise to play that?
The Morag Artificer?
I mean, what, I guess maybe there are not a lot of cards left in Fr0zen's deck they need to worry about the damage being doubled, but it's okay. One more card.
Yeah, it was a lethal setup.
Sure. Dragon Fleet Alexstrasza. Out of cards. To grab. Oh.
Fr0zen and Waxydread.
Those are pretty good dragons.
In the shadows.
Yeah, I'd say so. Wait. You play Abyssal Summoner, you're gonna summon nothing.
Seriously.
Good sequencing. Good sequencing. Can't be too sure, you know?
Don't scare Fr0zen like that.
Yeah.
Well, he's dead. And Fr0zen
reversal.
Gives it up. Yeah, ETC just kind of shaking his head there. He's like, wow, how did I do that? And that was a crazy swing for ETC to come back and win that game. I was not anticipating him coming out on top there.
Yeah, that was pretty wild back and forth, but you get to see why Quest Warlock can't ever be counted out. Oh, and you can see why ETC prioritized that hero power, because sometimes you just get bailed out by the 0 mana cards. The 0 mana discounts are insane in this game.
Once you complete the quest, hero power all you want. I'm saying before that, maybe a few too many times. But he gets to win anyway, and gets his second win in Division B.
That's right. So, taking a look at the schedule of how things have transpired, we had Gallon, Purple, Zulay, Muzzy, and ETC taking the wins. Some key victories for some of these players and some crushing defeats for others. ETC with that victory, also, like we were talking about, draws closer to potentially surviving that relegation, automatic relegation. But the thing is, ETC right now is just trying to fight for a chance to stay in Grandmasters.
Yeah.
I don't think he can get the playoffs.
It seems unlikely, but you know, I think if you just avoid being auto-relegated, you're happy.
For sure. So with that, take a look at the standings of how everything is shaking up. You said it earlier. We'll go ahead and say it one more time. Papa Jason, the sole owner of last place right now, but he could improve if he gets a win. But, you know, if Purple, or rather, if ETC loses, if PNC loses, if Papa Jason loses, Purple still has a chance. Meanwhile, for Fr0zen and Firebat, even though they lost today, they still are very well positioned for playoffs as long as they get one more win. And over on the other side, we have yet to see also Nalgadon and Monsanto find a way they can pull themselves out.
Yeah. So it's going to be an exciting weekend for sure. Day one kind of setting the pace, and the next couple days are going to decide a lot of the futures of a lot of these players.
That's right. That's right. And, some of the players, they're already done. Whoever is played 7 series, they're effectively just done for the round robin. So Muzzy, he's done. He's in the playoffs.
Right.
Purple, he's done. He's waiting to see his fate for the rest of the weekend.
True enough. Well, it was an exciting day of Hearthstone, wasn't it?
Yep, it was really fun. Lots of games back and forth. And in the end, we're done. We're 1/3 the way through the final stretch of finding out who is going through and who is going to have to fight to survive. So with that, though, any final words to wrap up the day here?
Just that Quest Warlock seems like an absolutely incredible deck, and it's a really interesting deck to watch and think about. So I'm really kind of psyched to see the rest of the games with that deck in particular over the weekend, to kind of see how the play style develops, how the matchups develop. It's going to be really interesting to watch.
Definitely. So looking forward to it, and it's going to be a good one. In the meantime, I want to give a shout out to T-Mobile, our partner, our sponsor for this show and broadcast, as well as all the fans who've been tuning in. But most importantly, to also tune in tomorrow and Sunday, because that's when we're going to have the conclusion of the round robin stages. If you missed any part of this broadcast, make sure to check out the VODs. It's youtube.com/Hearthstone Esports is where all things Grandmasters and Masters Tours will live. And also, if you want to check out the standings, the schedule, the deck list, the rules, or how to plug into the Masters Tour system yourself for a chance to compete on Grandmasters, head over to playhearthstone.com/esports. That's it from us, from Fr0zen, and everybody else. Have a wonderful start to your weekend, if not already. And we'll see you next time for more Hearthstone action.
Hearthstone Grandmasters is brought to you by T-Mobile. Switch today and rank up to America's largest 5G network. T-Mobile.